What do those employees at the theme park talk about when I'm not around? What's going on behind the scenes? Why do theme park employees talk about behind the scenes, backstage, where nobody can hear what they're saying? What's really going on? Let me try to paint a little bit of a picture first. There's a couple different places that employees will talk to each other. You've got your office, base, kind of your place where you check in and your base of operations. It may be the break room, it may be something else entirely. So for the train, that was kind of our break room. Same thing with Rhino Rally. At Disney, the photo pass offices or base where we got our equipment assignments was separate from the break rooms, so they're kind of different. But with all of them, you kind of had an opening day chat. So when you came in and you clocked in and got your stuff and were ready to go, you would tend to have a little meeting there where your manager or supervisor would kind of give you the rundown for the day. They would let you know, here's the events going on, here's the groups that we can expect, here's the stuff you may need to know, you may see this happening, be aware this is a little different than normal. So you get kind of an overview for the day that way. That was kind of a normal thing, and it was nice when, for example, at Disney, you would have them filming a commercial or something like that. They would let you know at the beginning of the day, hey, stay away from this area over here they're filming. Or you may encounter this person in the utilidors or backstage with a group around them. Leave them alone. Or at Epcot when we had the candlelight. Just reminders, by the way, yes, we have a celebrity narrator here today. Please give them their space. Yes, we know that they're here. So you get kind of those nice general reminders to remember that you're a professional, do your job. You're not going to fanboy or fangirl over somebody. They would let you know what you need to know. If there was a change in procedures or a safety issue or just reminders, that would all kind of be at that morning orientation meeting, depending upon your shift. Hey, be aware of this. This thing is changing. You need to know this. And that way you could get all that rundown. And that was really the manager oftentimes just reading off a sheet. Then you had your break times, your other times when the employees would get together. Disney, sometimes this was actually on the bus into the park. But that's where the interesting talk would happen. A lot of times, especially if it was people you didn't work with very often, you would get your small talk. Let's talk about the weather, let's talk about family and kids and spouses and sports and stuff like that. And that would include at the theme park, hey, did you get to go to this event? Did you see that activity? And so you'd have kind of your basic small talk. That was most of it. You would talk shop a lot. And by that, I mean, okay, did you see that group in the park? Did you run into this person? Were you aware of this change? Wait, we're getting paid once a month now instead of every 2 weeks? Or they're changing the insurance. And so you would talk about a lot of those things as a group. What do you think about this? That actually took up a pretty good amount of the discussion. And a lot of times, shop talk, very honestly, is not interesting and boring to anybody that's not directly involved with it because it's not anything noteworthy. And you would spend a lot of time on this. Hey, I read in the employee newsletter that they're going to have a new opening at the campground for cast members, or there's a new discount available over at this place. Oh, I like your shoes. Where did you get those? Because I could use a good pair of shoes. That's actually something they talk about a lot, because every park you have to buy your own shoes and they're expensive and your feet are what matters. So yes, a lot of talk about shoes, which sounds funny, but it's very true. I do remember at Disney when we changed from our brown vest, white shirt on Main Street to the Main Street outfit with the pinstripes and the white knickers, and talk about that. And some people loved it and some people hated it, and there was a lot of discussion about the costume change. So when you get changes like that, yes, there's a lot of discussion. At Silver Dollar City, we talked about why we couldn't get a new gun when one of our shotguns broke. So you do have a lot of shop talk. And if there's a safety procedure or something like that, you will talk about things like that. Why do we do this and not that. And some of those discussions happen with management. A lot of those, though, happen within other employees, and it's newer people asking older people why, and getting the information that they may not be able to get from management. And that actually leads me to another thing, especially when you have newer employees and older ones, is you'll get a lot of talk at the tables of, okay, you just got through training. Here's what they didn't tell you. Here's what you really need to know. They may have told you this, but the reality is this, and it's not going to quite match up. Here's what to look out for when you go out on the streets. At Disney, we all had our little red ribbon that said "Earning My Ears," and you milked that ribbon. If you were smart, you kept that on until they made you take it off. But if you saw somebody wearing the red ribbon, as a cast member, you also knew, okay, this is somebody who's going to want some advice. Let me let you in on things that they didn't tell you. Here's how to deal with the heat. Little things like on Main Street, to stand in certain positions so you could actually feel the air conditioning coming from the stores out the doors. Makes it a little bit cooler in that spot, or how to follow the shadows as they moved across the street. Here's the things I wish they had told me when I started and they didn't, that you should know. And even every now and then, well, yeah, they may have told you this in training, but the reality is that doesn't work. Here's what we really do because it does work. So you will get a lot of those kinds of discussions, a lot of those things being said, a lot of essentially further training over the break room table for the new people. You'll share new ideas. With the photographers, we were constantly trading ideas. Hey, I tried this pose and I did that. This one worked really good. We were always looking for new ideas that way, so we would exchange those at the break table. It was at the break table where I heard about the Brazilian tour groups. That wasn't mentioned in training, but I got it from my coworkers. Hey, get ready. When you see these groups, here's what you need to know and get out of the way, or prepare to defend your character, or those kinds of things. So the warnings about those groups all came at the break table. We also talked about some of the dumb things that we were going to see and to be prepared for. A lot of the dumb questions I heard first at the break table and then encountered them. You're warned at the break table about, here comes the 3 o'clock parade question, and you're going to get it. You would get told about some of the other silly questions. The people who come up to Mickey and not know who they were. The ones that you would get on a regular basis, you would oftentimes get at the break table because the more experienced employees would share them with the newer ones. And if you're a new employee, listen to those experienced people. They know what they're talking about. You share a lot of that kind of thing. And there's different ways it gets shared. Yes, you get the negative ones. I can't believe this guest just did this to me or said that. I can't believe that this person was like that. A lot of times what happens backstage is if they've had a bad moment or experience, it's venting. Okay, I'm ticked off. This guest just screamed in my face because it's raining and I can't turn off the rain. So you step backstage and just vent a little bit. I did see cast members occasionally crying backstage because some guest had just been a totally rude jerk and just blasted them, and they just had to let it go. So backstage is a venting place. I remember the one time that I had a guest that would not move as the trolley was coming down the street. And these trolleys weighed, what was it, 3 tons? Or something like that, and with a draft horse. They don't stop coming down the street. They can't. Well, they technically can, but it was not easy on the horse. This guest wouldn't move. Would not move. And I mean, I asked him, I told him, I yelled at him, and I finally had to grab this guest and drag him off the street, only to have him yell at me, "How dare you mess my bird?" And I mean, even to the point where the person driving the trolley yelled at them, "He just saved your life!" And this guy's still going off on me. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done with you. And I stepped off stage, and a coworker was back there, and I'm like, I gotta vent. Wah! Yes, that happens a lot backstage. You do get those kinds of discussions. But really, around that break table, though, or as you're stepping off stage, what you may be surprised to know is the vast majority of talk is actually positive. Here was this amazing experience that I just had coming in with the characters. Because as a photographer, we would oftentimes, when the character was stepping off stage for a break, we would go in with them. And as soon as you get backstage, oh my goodness, that kid was so cute. Oh, that was such a neat experience. Oh, I love this. This person just made my day. We would have conversations like that a lot. If we had a Make-A-Wish kid, that was oftentimes you step backstage and, oh, that was such a neat moment. I'm so happy I could be a part of it. And you loved talking about those things. Most of it was positive. I had this incredible experience the other day with this guest. You wouldn't believe it. Here's what was so neat. Here's what they did. They gave me this little gift, or they came by and said, hey, thank you. And it just totally turned my day around when I was having a rough one. That's honestly, I would say, probably of the non-small talk, I would say probably 80% of it was talking about this great moment that you had with a guest, or this incredible thing this guest said or did that was so nice. You would talk about the funny stuff, so some of the silly things that you would hear, and find out you're not alone, that hey, I just had this lady walk up and ask me if she could take the monorail from Studios over to Animal Kingdom. And you'd have somebody else go, oh yeah, I had somebody ask about that a while ago. You find out you're not alone. When I had the tour group over at Splash Mountain that decided to change clothes outside of the ride, and I went backstage afterwards and went, I can't believe what I just ran into. And you'd have other cast members go, oh yeah, had that one happen to me. And you find out that these crazy things happen more often than you know. Not on a regular basis, but they're not necessarily unique. But it was the great guests that we loved to talk about. The ones that, when you see a guest dressed up in the same outfit you were wearing. So when, as a PhotoPass photographer or conductor, we would see those kids, we point them out to everybody. We go backstage and tell everybody about them. If we had a kid come on the train dressed as a robber, we would actually notify the robbers out there, hey, you got one of your Bolin brothers coming on the train, and tell them where they were sitting. Those kinds of things made our day. We loved to share the positives, the neat stories, and if we remembered a story somebody else told, we tell them, hey guys, Bill just had this amazing thing happen the other day. Bill, tell him what you told me. We love to share that because it would make your day better. It would encourage you. It encouraged everybody to do a better job. And sometimes those little things would take somebody, if they were having a rough day, and it would turn it around. So if you wonder, do they talk about you backstage? Yeah, but hopefully it's for the good reasons that, wow, I just had this amazing experience with this guest. Those are the ones that we like to talk about the most. So I hope you found this entertaining and informative. I'd love to know, did you work at a theme park? Are your experiences backstage similar to mine? I'd love to know. Feel free to share in the comments. What did you talk about backstage? What did you talk about when the guests couldn't hear? Let me know. Do you have any other questions too? Let me know. I'd love to answer questions. I'd love to know what you're thinking about too. Be sure to leave all your comments below. Be sure to check the description as well. Tons of info there, including info about financial support. Thank you to my supporters. They make so much possible. If you want to know more, check the description. Check it anyways. There's a lot of stuff there. Don't forget to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. We're 600 subscribers away from 30,000. Let's do it. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. Of course. So you get kind of an overview for the day that way. Wait for the car to go by. Nice and slow. And they're giving it to you for your reason because... Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.